Hello, this is Jan from Red Toad Art Studio, and today we are going to learn how to draw a horse head. I know most of us just love horses and ponies, and they're so much fun to draw. So today we're going to work on a horse head. Now, you can draw on whatever you want. If this is going to be a pencil drawing or for crayon, you can use any kind of paper you want. If you want to watercolor it or use markers, then move on up to mixed media paper or watercolor paper. You will need a pencil, an eraser, and you may want to download our tutorial, our free tutorial on how to draw a horse head to put in your files. And there's actually 4 pages to this tutorial, step by step, on how to draw this horse's head. So, let's start. Now, the first step you will see is a circle. Have you noticed how many of our drawings, almost all of them in fact, start with a circle? Circles and rectangles and squares are the basis of most things, it does seem like. Now this circle, you will want to have at least halfway over and a little down from the middle of your page, because we need to leave room for the horse's nose and for the horse's neck and mane. So I'm going to start about here, and I do need to be down far enough to leave room for the horse's ears. So I hope I'm guessing right here, but we are going to do a circle. And this is just the top of the horse's head where the eyes are. So I'm going to do a circle, just a light circle. I hope you can see that. I don't want to do it too dark on here because I'm using watercolor paper in case I want to do something other than make a drawing out of it. So there is my circle. Now this second part we're going to do is the muzzle or the nose of the horse, and we're going to start out just a bit lower than where this circle comes out. And this needs to be at least as long as this is wide. So let's see. It needs to at least come to about there. Whoa, that seems like that's a lot wider than this, doesn't it? But I don't think it is. No, it's not. And then we come. Again, we want to be inside just a little bit of the lines of that circle. Now, that looks more like a dog nose, doesn't it? So I am going to come up here and make this a little fatter. And here we go. Well, here we go. I might have shortened that a little, but I think my horse head is looking a little more like a greyhound than a horse. There we go. Let's see how that comes out. All right. Step 3 has us come a little bit this way and draw the front of its neck, just like that. Now let's do the back of his neck. Now you come above the circle a little bit because the ears are going to fit in here. There we go. See, we have now where the eyes go, where the nose is, and its neck. Now this might be kind of a skinny neck, but let's see how it turns out. Next thing we want to do is get the ears, one of the ears up here. We're just going to come up here and make a curved line like this. And there we go. That's our first ear. Now, before we leave the ears, and this is step 6, we're going to do a little bit like this where we see the inside of the horse's ear. And step 7 is adding the other ear, which is just right on the other side there. So you won't have a whole ear drawn here. It'll be a little shorter because it's a little ways away, and just down like this. And there's the second ear. It doesn't have to meet our lines because we're going to put what they call the forelock or the mane falling down here a little bit. Alrighty. Let's work on the nose a little bit. Now, your horsey, if you've got one or seen one, doesn't have a square-ended nose like this. So we're going to come along, kind of do a curve down and then back out to meet the end here. And we will erase this square corner. That looks so much better. All right. Now let's add some mouth. And come down here, and his chin actually will kind of come down a little bit. And we're going to come here, do a little curve in, and here's his mouth. See that? And now we will come up and meet where the nose is. So you'll have another little square edge here to get rid of, and then a little bit there where the chin was. So you see how that is? Can you see my lines? Here's his mouth. Kind of curvy, and then up to where his nose will be. There we go. That looks so much better, doesn't it? Now let's add the nostril on this side. Now horses have weird noses. They're almost like a 6 in that they have a smaller top and come around into a bigger bottom. So actually, if you just come along here and draw a big fat 6, and then kind of come up where the top of the 6 is, like that. Or you could say this is like a raindrop or a teardrop. And there is our horse's nose. Now, actually, I think I have this a little wrong. His nose might be a little farther up. Let's try that again. You know, erasers are for that very thing. When we think we haven't quite done it right, there's nothing wrong with doing it over. I think that's better, don't you? All right. Now we're going to erase a few of these lines here. Let's leave a little bit of this line coming up about this far. And erase clear up to there. And then let's come along under this ear and erase some of that. Not all of it, just a little bit. There we go. And you know, something that is coming very clear to me right now in my drawing is that I made his neck way too thin. So I'm going to come and change this while I'm looking at it. There's nothing wrong with adjusting your drawings as you go. Okay, I think we're ready to turn the page. Page 2, the eye. The eye will be somewhat in front of the ears and down just a little bit. In fact, I'll turn this over and we'll draw the eye by itself so you see how we're going to do that. You're going to do a curve. Now this is a bigger eye than probably what we'll use on the horse. Under that curve, come down like this. That's the actual eye. This would be the eyelid. Down like that. The pupil. Horses have very dark eyes. They don't show a lot of the whites of their eyes unless they're scared or they're mad at you. Beware if you see a lot of the whites of a horse's eyes. We're going to reserve a little area that is the glint of living creatures, the little light in their eyes. And then we can bring this up a little bit like this. And there is our horse's eye. Now we will want to either fill it in with our pencils, our pens, our paint. And I say, not all the time do they have dark eyes. I had a horse one time that had the most beautiful blue eyes. Can you imagine that? He was a cow pony. He came from out west. And there is my horse's eye. So let's put that eye on our horse, and it would be, I think this is the hardest part about drawing a horse head, is getting the eye where it feels right to have an eye on that horse head. It's easy to get it too far down, either way. So there's our first curve. Now here comes the eyeball. I think that'll be fine, don't you? Here's the horse's pupil and iris. Our little mark we want to keep. And then we're going to come out like this in kind of a teardrop shape. And there we go. We have our horse's eye. Now let's give him just a little bit. This isn't an eyebrow. There is a muscle above their eye that shows fairly plainly. You will probably want to draw that in a little bit. Alrighty, now there's some other lines on a horse's head, and we're not going to put them all in. If you want to be exact, you will want to check a picture of the horse's anatomy or a very close-up picture of a horse. But for what we're learning, we won't get quite that detailed. Let's put a couple. There is a muscle here on the back of their necks. Now, a lot of this will be covered up with the mane, but it doesn't hurt to go ahead and add them. And there's one that comes in here. Hey, our horses, the only thing I see about this horse is I think my horse has big ears. Maybe it's related to a mule. But you know, every horse looks different, just like every person looks different. So, you know, I'm going to go ahead and fill this eye in with my pencil. Even if I wanted to paint this later, and I am doing it on watercolor paper in case I want to, that eye can always be filled in with a nice dark color. We're going to add what we call the forelock. This is the part of the mane that comes forward on a horse. It likes to get in the horse's eyes. You know, has your mom or anyone ever told you, get that hair out of your eyes? Well, that happens a lot for our horsies. And I don't think they really care very much. Now, the next part we want to add is some mane. So, let's come up here. Let's have a nice fluffy mane. We're going to do like that. And then let's come down here. There, that'll be neat. I'm going to erase what is being hidden by all that mane hair. Now I'm going to do another one. Our picture has 3. You can do as many as you want of these in your picture. Our instruction sheets are just suggestions. See, now I think I've run out of room to do much more. Let's see if we can get a little bit here that's like it goes off the paper and comes back in. How's that? All right, where do we stand? We are ready for number 20. And this is where we make our manes look a little better. We're going to come in and do shading right at the top areas of our manes. And our forelock too. Now I divided my forelock so it's kind of doubled there. You can do yours however you want. Now, come in here and just, this is almost like cross-hatching. But follow the curve of the mane. And this is like shadowing. And I'm going to darken this. There we go. And we want to do that with every one of these. And you know, you might want to put a piece of paper under the palm or the back of your hand there to keep from smudging. Just wispy lines to show the shadows in the hairs. See that? Let's turn to page 3 now. The next thing we did on this one was this little curvy part here. That is shaded under there. So I like to go ahead and shade that in. Now again, if you're painting this, you can wait to do that. Or if you're using crayons or something. And then we also filled the nostril in. All right, now let's come back to this mane hair. I want to darken my drawing lines up a little bit. Now you may want to ink this and do it in ink or pen and ink or watercolor it. But let's have these lines a little bit stronger here so we can see the waves in this beautiful horse's mane. And then come into the bottom, and we're going to come upwards again with shadow lines that look like hair. And that leaves us with a little spot here which is highlighted. So if you're going to paint it, you may want to do this for shadow colors and this with highlight colors. And we want to do that with every one of our little sections of mane. See how neat that looks? Always think your base color, your shadow color, and your highlight color. 3 different things. Now I am going to come in here and do a little bit better on the erasing job. And I think I will also strengthen up these little lines here. My little ears that aren't so little, but you know, we all have different sized ears, don't we? I'm going to come down here, strengthen these lines a little bit. And this, his cheek. I keep saying his, but this could be a girl horse too. Now here's one line that wasn't put in to your instruction sheet, but you do see on a horse that comes down like this. Just like that. You can put it in or leave it out, it doesn't matter. Now, you can stop here if you want. You have drawn a beautiful horse head. You can color it, paint it, do whatever you want with it. But I am going to show you how to add a halter. So if you want a halter on your horse or a bridle, you'll know the basics of doing that. Let's clean mine up a little bit here. All right. Let's put a ring. This is a ring, about here. A circle. It is usually a metal ring on your halter that the halter hooks to, okay? And then it will come down. It'll hang a little bit below your horse's chin there. And if you want to be exact, again, this doesn't show it. You can bring a little line up there. You see it right up there? In fact, I'll fill it in so it's more visible, where it shows it going around your horse's chin. Now, I'm going to get rid of that line right there, which is the horse's chin. Now let's go above where it goes over. We're going to do the same thing. Up. And then we can do a little dark spot here that shows it going around. And your instruction sheet doesn't show this, because the instruction sheet is kind of assuming you're doing a fairly small horse. And I don't know what you're using today, but I'm using a full-size sheet of paper. Now I need to do a little erasing. Now it's up to you if you want to leave those little muscle lines that belong to the horse under here. You can either erase them or leave them there. Now we need to do the side lines going from behind the ears and attaching to this. And coming in the same way, just like that. I made mine just a little bit too long here. Let's take a little bit off because we need to add our ring. Let's add another ring that holds these things together about here, where it attaches. It will go over the front of your horse's ears, and it will go behind your horse's ears. There we go. We have a halter on our horse. We're almost done. Oh, yes, I forgot one step. 27 also has one that comes down and goes under the horse's chin. I really doubt if they are real happy about having all this stuck on their heads. What do you think? Okay, now I want to add something to this halter. I have had, in the past, I've had several horses. I just love horses. I don't have any now. It's been a while. But I do remember these leather halters had stitching that would go up and down on the edges where they were stitched. And I think that is a good finishing touch to the halter. And all the halters I had, if they were leather, they were a brown leather color. I'm sure you can find colors. And you could also get, I'm assuming you can still get, I haven't bought anything for a horse in a long time, halters made out of nylon. That could be any color you want. You could do bright blue or bright red. So make this in colors that you want. But if you're doing a leather halter, this stitching just gives it a look of reality. There are a few more buckles on these things that we could add, and if you want to do that, you can look them up online and find nice pictures of these things. There we go. All right, now, on our instruction sheet, in case you are a girl that loves to put your horse in parades or fancy your horse up, it's really cute to give them a flower right here under their ears. So just, let's draw a flower, then we'll have to erase some of what we drew there. But we'll draw a flower center. In fact, I think it might be best to erase just a little bit of this now. So you guys will probably not want to do this unless you like flowers. And then you'll want to just stop with the halter. But some of us girls would like to add pretty flowers to our horse. So, petals, nice big petals so it shows up. And it's always fun if there are parades around to ride your horse in a parade and curl their manes and shine them all up and put pretty flowers and stuff on them. Now, I did more petals than my instruction sheet has. You can do your flower however you want to, but we do need to finish erasing where that halter was. Now, let's do a little better job. Let's finish off that flower a little better. Let's put a leaf here. It'd be a nice little green leaf. Flowers have little lines, usually going into their petals. There's that center. And take your time at cleaning up your pencil lines and erasing. There we are. There is our horse or pony. I think I'm even going to add just a little bit to show. I just love him. I'm going to have to figure out what I want to do to finish this little guy. This would be cute finished off just as a pencil drawing. You could do a little extra shading and use your blending stick. Put some shadows in these areas. And you would be done, and he'd be cute. Or you can color him, or you could ink him, and then you could paint him. And I am seriously thinking about inking and painting. So we may have that in our next video. But didn't you just love drawing a beautiful little horse? And I hope you've enjoyed this. And watch out, you might see a video coming up where he is being painted. So I am going to say goodbye for now and enjoy drawing your horse. Bye-bye.